Hi fellow paranormalers, today is still the 5th of December 2014. I've done a number of videos today. Sorry if I'm squinting. It's winter sun and it's very, very bright. Another quick subject. Trying to keep these to sort of 5-6 minutes each. And again, I'm just trying to, evoke some discussion, some feedback. If you have something to say, I really welcome what you say. If you experience the same thing, anything along those lines, just anything, or just leave a link and say, go to this website and talk about it there or something, I don't know. But anyway, another subject, and this I've touched on before in other videos, but I thought, hey, why not make this just a separate video, short video? Maybe I'll get a little bit more responses rather than including this observation or question in a big video. I'd like to know, because I experienced this myself, but I suspect that spirits are talking all the time. Okay, I really believe that they don't just start talking to us, especially if we're in our home or an environment that's haunted or whatever you want to call it. I think they're already talking. I think they are communicating amongst themselves. Now, I think I need to be a little bit careful. I don't know is the thing. When spirits actually communicate to us, I wonder, are they using a different method than when they're communicating amongst themselves normally? That's one thing, okay? I wonder whether they communicate in a different way in the level, the plane, the ether, whatever it is, wherever it is they are, than when they're communicating with us, okay? Because, we always sort of say things like, use my energy, use an EM pump, use whatever, energy, batteries, in order to communicate. And I don't necessarily believe that they actually need to do that when they're talking amongst themselves. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I don't know whether you've done this, whether anyone else is watching this video has ever done this, but have you ever, instead of doing what I call a formal session, have you ever just switched your ghost box, whatever it might be, just switched it on and just continued your normal everyday thing, and you can hear the conversations that go on? Now, I do this quite regularly because I think it's kind of fun to do. Sometimes I feel like I'm an eavesdropper, and I feel like I'm sort of in amongst a group of people in a room, and that I may not necessarily be entitled to be there, and I'm listening in on their conversations. That's kind of how I feel when I don't do a formal session. This is why it leads me to believe that spirits are talking all the time. I don't think they just start talking as soon as we switch a ghost box on, or Echo Vox or GB1 or whatever method it is we're using. I don't think we're switching on, I don't think we're switching something on that they necessarily recognise. It's not like a megaphone, oh, by the way, I've switched this megaphone on and I'm now going to listen to what you're saying. I don't know, it's an interesting one. So sometimes it does feel to me like, I switch my SB7 on, for instance, and I just leave it on a desk, and I just leave it there, and I don't have it up very loud, and then I've got spirits actually saying my name. They're actually calling me and saying, blah, 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 or they start talking, oh, he's switched it on now, and things like that, and we can talk now, which I find really quite interesting. So, and sometimes I have just left it on, and I will just hear conversations. I'll hear almost you know, little snippets of conversations coming through that actually have got nothing to do with me at all, which I also find interesting, because if they have to speak to us in a different way, why would they waste their energy talking through a ghost box to each other? If they're not talking to me and I'm not asking them to talk to me and I'm not talking to them, why would they waste their energy talking through a ghost box just randomly? Something worth thinking about. It has me thinking. If you have any feedback on, you know, these two things, I'd welcome it. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts about, you know, the communication that's going on. I mean, as I had a previous video about how I know when a spirit wants to start talking to me, or they making their presence known to me, they touch me. You know, I know that they're actually there, they're touching me, I sense it, I feel it. And interestingly enough, I've just come from a client, quite an old client. He's also very sick, and there was definitely a presence there, in a loving presence there, and I think it was his mother. And then I don't think she stayed with me, but somebody has stayed with me in the car, because they keep touching me. You know, not all the time, but you know, they're making their presence known. So I don't know quite who it is. They're not here now, because I stopped the car and had something to eat, and I think they left, and I wasn't actually that far away from his house. So I think whoever it was just made their presence known, and then they've returned back to where they've come from. So you know, they're not here now. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. If you have a comment or anything you'd like to say about that subject, I very much welcome your comments. Thank you very much for watching.